How do you see things around you? Can you see them in the dark? No? Yes, you cannot see things in the dark. Yes, we are talking about light. Light is a form of energy that helps you to see things. It gives sensation to our eyes to see things around. There are different sources of light, natural sources as well as artificial sources. Natural sources like sun, stars are all natural sources, whereas artificial sources like candle, torch, light, etc. are the artificial sources of light. Yes, we see a variety of objects in the world around us. However, we are able to see them only when there is light. Either the sunlight or any artificial light source that can make the surrounding lightened. How do we see objects? What happens when we see the objects? How do you know that you have seen something? An object reflects light that falls on it. This reflected light, when received by our eyes, enables us to see. Do you know that light travels in a straight line? Shall we see a few experiments how we can determine and confirm that light travels in a straight line? As you can see on the screen, the man is looking at the candle through a pipe. If the pipe is a straight one, he is able to see the candle on the other end, and if it is bent, he cannot see the other end, which says that light cannot travel if it is not traveling in a straight line. Another experiment which we usually do in the lab is taking 3 cardboards of the same size with a stand and putting hole on the 3 cardboard at the same point on the 3 cardboards. Now place it as shown in the arrangement in your screen. And if you try to look at the candle on the other end, you will be able to see the burning candle. But if you try to move any of the cardboards, you will not be able to see the candle. This shows that light travels in a straight line. So what can light do? It reflects. What is reflection? Reflection is bouncing back of light. You see at some object and the light falls on the object and returns back to your eye, is reflection. As we see ourselves on plane mirror, it is all the reflection of light. Now, when we see an object in using a plane mirror, what kind of things do you observe? As you can see that a plane mirror has some characteristics, like it keeps the image as it is seen. If you stand straight in front of the mirror, it shows you in the mirror the same way, but it is a virtual image. And if you try to raise your left hand, it shows the right hand, that is the left right reversal. It is also called as lateral image. Also, you must have noticed, if you stand in front of the mirror, you see yourself in the mirror. As you move away from the mirror, your image in the mirror also moves away. And so the distance of the object to the mirror is equal to the distance of the image to the mirror. So what are the properties of the image formed by plane mirror? Image formed by plane mirror is always virtual and erect. Virtual means that the image that you get on the plane mirror cannot be further taken on a screen. The size of the image is equal to the size of the object. You see yourself in the plane mirror and you are of the same size in the plane mirror also. The image formed is as far behind the mirror as the object is in front of it. The image is laterally inverted. You raise your left hand and you see your right hand is raised in your image. So, we shall see the law of reflection of light. We have already learnt in our earlier classes, light travels and reflects from a polished surface like a plane mirror. So, when light falls on a plane mirror, it gets reflected, and the light ray that falls on the plane mirror is the incident ray and the one that comes out of it is the reflected ray. If you draw a diagram of the incident ray and the reflected ray, it looks like what you see on the screen. Also, the normal is the line perpendicular to the surface of the mirror. The normal is drawn at the point where the incident ray falls on the mirror. Also, you will notice that the angle of incidence, that is the angle between the incident ray and the normal, and the angle of reflection, that is the angle made by the reflected ray and the normal, are the same. And so, we shall see that the law of reflection of light is stated in 2 points, that is the incident ray, the reflected ray and the normal to the mirror at the point of incidence all lie in the same plane. Also, the angle of incidence is always equal to the angle of reflection. But plane mirrors are not the only one who reflect the light. It is also a spherical surfaces that can reflect light, just like the spoon that can reflect the light. You see yourself in a spoon which is polished spoon, but you see that the spoons, both the surfaces are polished, and if you see yourself in the spoon from both the surfaces, you will see that in one you will be able to see yourself erect and the other you will see yourself inverted. So, that means there are spherical surfaces who can reflect the light. Just like plane mirrors, we have spherical mirrors also. And spherical mirrors are of 2 types. One, a concave mirror, and the other is the convex mirror. So, a spherical mirror whose reflecting surface is curved inwards is called a concave mirror. Whereas, if the reflecting surface is on the outward surface of the curved sphere is a convex mirror. We shall see the different points or parts of a spherical mirror. As you can see on the screen, there is a concave mirror and a convex mirror. In both the cases, if you take the spherical mirror and try to encircle it completely, you get the center of the circle, which is called as the center of curvature, and you can draw a straight line through the center of curvature passing through the whole sphere, making the diameter, and that line is called as the principal axis, which is the imaginary line that passes through the center of curvature. The center of the reflecting surface, that is the concave mirror or the convex mirror under consideration, is called the pole. From the center of curvature to the pole is the radius of the sphere, also called the radius of curvature. Now, we shall see how the spherical mirrors are being made. If you consider the whole sphere, a part of the sphere is cut, and the portion of the sphere that is cut, you receive it, and it is called as a spherical mirror. It can be polished on both the sides, If it is polished inward, you call it as a concave mirror, and if it is outward, you call it as a convex mirror. Now, we shall see the different parts of a spherical mirror. As we had discussed previously, the center of the spherical mirror is the pole, represented by letter P. The center of the sphere of which the mirror is a part is called the center of curvature and is represented by letter C. The radius of the sphere of which the reflecting surface of a spherical mirror forms a part is called the radius of curvature. Now, the principal axis is the imaginary straight line that passes through the pole and the center of curvature of the spherical mirror. So, as we had said that there are two types of mirror, one a concave mirror and the other is the convex mirror. As you can see, a concave mirror, if you take the light falling on a concave mirror, all the parallel beam of light, they come and converge at a point after reflection, which is called the focus of the concave mirror. Now, the focus of the concave mirror is the center of the radius of the curvature. Also, the focus to pole is the distance called as the focal length of the mirror. This concave mirror is one which is also called the convergent mirror. Reason is that all the parallel beam of light, they converge at a point after reflection. There are a lot of uses of concave mirror. As you can see, a concave mirror is used in vehicle headlights. They are used in search lights, also used by dentists so that they can see the large image of the teeth of the patient. Spherical mirror like concave mirrors are also used as shaving mirrors and also in solar furnaces. A convex mirror, as you can see, is a mirror which is called as a divergent mirror. The reason being that a convex mirror always diverges the light that falls on it. All the parallel beam of light that fall on it diverge and seem to come from a point if you draw dotted lines behind, and this point is the focus of the convex mirror. So, there are two main uses of convex mirrors. A convex mirror usually is used as a rear view mirror, just because it covers a large area in a small mirror. Also, we find convex mirrors being used as security mirrors because images appear smaller than they are in the convex mirrors. Having learnt about how the convex and concave mirrors are useful to us, we shall see how images can be formed in them. For that, you need to know the different rules for the formation of image using spherical mirrors, which we shall discuss in the next session.